Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Messy Church Live. It's lovely to be with you here this afternoon. We're in St. Peter's Church and I'm Katie and I'm with the team. We've got Kate and Betty and Liz and Naomi. And helping on the cameras and the sound, we've got Nigel and Ian. So welcome to all of them. Lovely to see you all today. And Kate is going to start us off with a prayer.
Okay, I'm just going to take my mask off. Okay, shall we put our hands together and talk to Jesus? Thank you, Jesus, for Messy Church. Thank you that we can meet this way and help us to enjoy listening about brilliant stories that you were in the Bible all those years ago. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Kate. So if you remember last session, we were actually thinking about Easter. That was back in March. And we thought about the time when Jesus died on the cross and then came back to life again 3 days later. Now, once Jesus came back to life, he actually appeared to quite a few people before he went up to heaven 40 days after his death in a cloud. So today we're thinking about one of those times when Jesus appeared to his friends, who were called his disciples, after he had come back to life, after he had risen from the dead. Now, the story that Kate is going to tell us in a minute is from the book of John in the Bible. And it's actually the second time in Jesus' life that he was with his disciples when they were fishing. The first time was when he was actually alive and he was preaching and teaching people. And then he saw some fishermen who hadn't managed to get any fish in their nets. So he told them to try lowering their nets the other side, even though they had already tried this. But as soon as they did this, their nets were totally filled with fish. It was a miracle. But Kate is now going to tell us about the other time in the Bible when Jesus performed a miracle, which is something amazing. And this is another time he performed a miracle to do with fish. But this time he had already died and come back to life. So over to you, Kate.
Thank you, Katie. So this is the Bible that I've got, and you can read about this story in the book of John, chapter 21. So maybe if you've got a Bible, you can have a look at that later on. I've got some visuals here, and can you see all these lovely fish on my picture? I quite like this yellow one here. Which one do you like the best? Okay, so our Bible story today is a true story and it's got some of Jesus' disciples in it. Shall we have a look? I'm just going to take this off very carefully. So here we have a picture of Peter. Peter's one of Jesus' helpers, one of the disciples, and he wanted to go fishing with his other friends, and they were disciples as well. We've got this Peter here, and we've got Thomas, we've got Nathaniel, the sons of Zebedee, and some other ones here. And they were at a lake called the Lake of Tiberias. And Peter said, "I'm going fishing. Come on, lads. Do you want to come? It's going to be really great. We'll go fishing all night and get loads of fish." And the boys said, "Yeah, let's do it. That's going to be so cool." So let's see what happens next. So they were really good at their job. Peter was the expert fisherman, and they were in their boat all night. But look at their faces. They're not very excited, are they? Why? They hadn't caught any fish. What a disappointment. All night, didn't catch a thing. And the sun's about to rise. Oh dear. So, we've got a picture here of Jesus. And Jesus is at the edge of the lake, looking out to the boys, and they didn't know it was Jesus. And Jesus said, "Have you caught anything?" from the shore. And the boys shouted back, No, no, not even one. No. I think they might have been a bit grumpy and tired at this point. So Jesus said to them, and they still didn't know it was Jesus, throw your nets on the right side of the lake and you will catch some. Go on.
So just having a few slight technical issues, but we're just getting it set up. Ian is to the rescue, and I'm sure we'll get the story back in just a moment. After we've got the story, we've got lots of fun things lined up for you this afternoon. Liz is going to come and do a lovely quiz for us. And then we've got 4 craft activities ready and lined up for you, which are going to be really fun. Lots of cutting and sticking this week, and lots of colourful card and pictures and lots of things going on. And then we've got some prayer time at the end. So hopefully you'll have a nice sort of 40 minutes or so watching all the things that are going on. And some really exciting news, we're actually hoping that next month in May, we might have our first live Messy Church, probably be for over a year or so, which we're really excited about. That's going to be in the Rectory Gardens on May the 17th. So if I forget to tell you at the end, May the 17th. I'll give you more details a bit later on, but I think we've got everything back and working again. So over to Kate.
Okay, cool. This is part 2. Can you see me all right, everyone? Yeah. Okay, so when they had all the fish in the net, the boys had to do some teamwork, and they had to work together to get all these fish out of the sea into the boat. So they went, heave, heave, come on, there's so many, we can do this. And they did. And do you know what? They counted loads and loads of fish. Now I'm just going to have a look on my sheet now, how many they caught, because I've just lost my space. 153. And the net didn't even break. How cool is that? Do you know, Jesus loved Peter and noticed it was Jesus. It is the Lord. And you know, when Peter got out of the boat, he put his garment on and he jumped into the sea and swam to Jesus. He couldn't wait like the others and row back to Jesus. He was just so excited that Jesus had shown an interest in him and loved him and did a miracle and blessed him. And the other lads rowed back, and it was about 100 meters, and they were rowing back to Jesus. Let's just have a look at this last picture now. So 153 fish, and Jesus was at the shore and he was cooking them a breakfast. Isn't that a lovely thing to do? And I bet I wish if I was there, it'd have been a lovely time. So he said, choose a fish you want, let's cook it and have a nice barbecue, and I've got some bread here and we can have a good old chat. And I'm sure that was a lovely special occasion. And at this point, the disciples knew it was Jesus because of the miracle, and just what happened was so amazing. So, what can we learn from this story? Well, Jesus performed a miracle, and only God can do that. Jesus noticed his disciples, and he can notice us. And Jesus cooked them breakfast, so he cared and shared for his disciples, and he can care and share for us too, and we can trust him for all our needs. Okay, thank you.
Oh, thanks, Kate. That's such a lovely story. I really enjoyed hearing that. It makes you feel sort of so special to think that Jesus would have come back to his friends and bless them in that way, doing such lovely miracles. And amazing to think that he carried on doing those things after he died. He'd already died and come back to life. So really special story. Thank you. Well, now we're going to go straight over to Liz, who's got a bit of a quiz for us. So it depends how well you've been listening to the story.
Hello. Oh, look at that bright sunshine behind me. Can you? Is that better? Can you all see me now? We've had to move about positions and all sorts of things. Now, I hope you've all been listening to the story. I've got a few quick questions to ask you. So I'm going to go to Betty first. Betty? Yes. Who did Jesus appear to by the Sea of Tiberias? Now, was it the holiday makers? Was it Mary Magdalene? Oh, was it the disciples? Which one? Who?
It was the disciples who were fishing.
Well done. Yeah, they were all fishermen, weren't they? So they were really good at their job. I'm going to go to Katie next. Katie, can you name one of the disciples? Was it Colin, Simon Peter, or Dave?
Oh, I think maybe it's Colin. Maybe Dave, and maybe Simon.
Absolutely well done. Very good. And Kate, what did Jesus call out to them from the shore? Did he call out, friends, haven't you caught anything? Or haven't you caught any fish? Or friends, have you caught an octopus? Or friends, haven't you caught any crab? Which one did he call out?
It was A, wasn't it? Have you caught any fish?
It was, absolutely. And then I might just pop back to Katie again. I'm going to make you do two, Katie. Did the disciples know it was Jesus the first time he called them? Did they know it was him calling? No, yes, or you're not sure?
I think they did the first time, didn't they?
No. Yeah, it was right. They didn't know it was him at first. And last question. Well done, everybody. Naomi, how many fish did they catch? I think Naomi's just coming in. Well, it was 100 or 153 or 10.
153.
Yeah, well done. Everybody got their questions right today. Well done, everybody. Well done. Good quiz. Hope you all got those answers at home. Well done.
Lovely. Thank you for that quiz, Liz. Just keeping us on our toes, how much we've been listening. Now, we're going to do some crafts right now. I think we might be starting with Betty. I'm not quite sure. Not sure if we're ready for Naomi. Are we ready for Naomi? Or Betty, would you like to do your craft first?
Yes, I can do mine
I think we're ready
first.
for
Okay. Well, we've been talking about fishing, and we're going to make a fishing game using the sticks that you've got in your bag. Some of you have got chopsticks, and some of you have just got sticks. But you're going to use those and your paper clips, and you should have some different papers. Now, online we've put a special origami fish that you can make online, but I didn't think we'd have time to do that now. And it's not too complicated, but it does need you to be really thinking about it. So I've made a couple of origami fish just to show you, and you can do that with a square of paper later. But I've also got some fish that I've just cut out of card, and you can be quite creative when you're cutting fish out of card. You put a tail and then a fat body. And you can see I'm not taking very much time in doing this. I might put a fin on, and then I might put a tail on. So I've got a fish there that I've made. And on the ends of the fish, I'm putting paper clips. I'm going to do those very specially because you've got to have something to be able to catch the fish with. I've got a little pond there. Can you see that I'm putting the fish in? And I'm going to tie the string round the end of my stick, which is going to be the fishing rod. I'm just doing a knot in the end that will hold on quite nicely. And then the other end of the string, I'm going to put through a paper clip and tie that off. I'm going to put it through the paper clip so that I can pull it out and make a hook on the end. We're going to use that to try and catch the fish. But I don't know whether you can see, but it's quite hard because the fish keep falling off when it's just the paper clip. But you've got something else in your pack, and the something else is a piece of magnetic tape. We've used that before, and the magnetic tape is a bit like Jesus in the story. He's the important bit that made the fishing work. It was the miracle part. And you can see that with the magnetic tape on, it's really easy to catch your fish. Even the origami ones, which are quite heavy, get lifted up quite easily by the magnetic tape. So have fun making your fish and your tape and your fishing rods, and have fun fishing.
Oh, thank you, Betty. That's a lovely one. I definitely want to try that with my girls at home. Thank you. Now we're going to go over to Caroline, who's done us a lovely pre-recorded video about the game Flappy Fish. So in your craft packs, if you manage to get hold of one, you'll find one big sheet of a cardboard with a big fish on it and some other little fish, and you'll need them for this game, but I'm sure she'll tell you all about that. Over to you, Caroline.
Hello, Messy Church. Hope you all had a lovely Easter. Today we've got a Flappy Fish game for you, so we hope you're going to enjoy playing it. Jesus talked to us about being fishers of men, so we're going to have a bit of fun with our fish. Now, in your pack, you should have a sheet that has got 9 fish on it, and you will need to cut them out. So, ta-da! Here's one we did earlier. And you will also have a piece of card. And we have used some string and some sellotape. You could use bits of wool, you could just use bits of sewing thread, whatever you've got, something to mark a line for a start and a finish point on the table. So the idea is to get your fish over the line first, but no hands are allowed to be used. You've just got to use the card to flap them across. So let's have a look and see how we're going. Are you ready?
On your carp. Get wet. Go.
Yay! Well done, William and Anna. Valiantly going. I think she's got a flounder there. Right, I think there might have been a bit of cheating at the end, but well done. Keeping going. So we hope you have fun playing the game. Bye, everybody. Say bye-bye. Bye.
Oh, such a fun game. Love that one. And you should actually have got a big sheet of A4 paper with a fish on it on a piece of card in your craft pack. So you could use that as well. But like anything, you can sort of improvise if you didn't manage to get hold of a craft pack. Perhaps you can make your own fish and decorate them and draw other fishes, big fish on a piece of card or something yourself. So now we're over to Naomi, who's going to show us a craft you can probably play with in the garden.
Hi guys, so what we're going to make is we're going to make this fish Windsock, a really fun game, a really fun craft that you can have to play in outside in the beautiful weather. And what you should have in your pack is you should have some string, a wooden stick or a chopstick, some tissue paper and some white card. So what we need to do first of all is to take your white card and fold one end of it, one of the width ends a little bit, and just chop off the bottom because we need some white card for the eyes later on. So I'll just quickly chop that off the bottom. Don't have to be very careful because this is going to go on the inside of your fish. And then what you do is perhaps I stick the sellotape the right way around. You roll your fish into a sort of cylinder shape. Now, if you had a toilet roll or something at home, you could do that. You could do this with that as well to save making the roll. I didn't have 30 odd toilet rolls, so I gave you some white card. So now you have a nice sort of cylinder shape. If you want to make that more secure, which would be good if you're going to run around the garden, maybe put some more sellotape on or use some glue to stick down that edge. But I'm just going to do it quickly today. So we'll just have the one piece of sellotape. Now, the next thing we need to do is make all of the fish scales. That's where your tissue paper comes in. You should have got a range of colours. You can use whichever colours you want. The easiest way to cut out your fish scales is just fold your paper like a fan. You can put all the colours together. Just fold them up like this. So you've just folded them into a fan. And then cut out semicircles or whatever shape fish scales you want to make, I suppose. You could get really crafty, really creative. You can make some different shapes. You just cut them out like that. And that will give you lots of different fish scales. Some of them, if you've doubled, just chop them in half. Really quick and easy way to make all of your fish scales. Now, I've got a whole range of colours here. So I'm going to start with some, let's go with some yellow to start with. Get your glue. Stick glue down some of your fish scales and just start sticking them onto your fish like this. Nice and easy. Doesn't have to be particularly neat and tidy to start with, but as you go further along, you need to get it slightly neater because there'll be the scales on top. So you keep going all the way up until you have covered your whole roll with fish scales. On this one, I've done double layers, so it's nice and thick. You can choose different colours and things like that. Have a bit of a crafty think about your design. Once you've filled it with fish scales, you then want to put the tail on. You'll notice on the bottom here, we have nice long tails, and these are really fun to flap around in the wind. So with some of your leftover tissue paper, you can just cut out some strips like this. Choose which end is going to be your bottom of your fish or your tail end of your fish. And glue part of your tissue paper. I'm going to make this my tail end and just stick them in like this. And you can stick lots of them in so they all cover the bottom of your fish. Now, you've got scales, you've got the tail, we need an eye. So earlier you cut out a little bit of card, a little bit of white card, and from that, you can just cut out 2 circles and stick them on to be your eye of the fish. I'm going to stick one on the front here. And then to make a pupil, get any colour pen. You might want to have a black bit in your eye. You might want to have a red bit in your eye. Oh, lots of creative. And there you've got your fish eye. Now the last thing is we need to attach our string and our bit of wood. And this is where, especially the younger kids, get your parents to help you with this because It could get a little bit dangerous otherwise. You just want to get something like scissors or a pen. I happen to have scissors next to me, so I'm going to have scissors to make 2 little holes the side of your fish, the face end of your fish, like that. You get your string. We're all about the string and feeding string through things today in the crafts. Get your string, feed it through that side. There we go. There we go. And now your string is going through the middle of your fish. You can make it as long as you want. The longer you have it, obviously, the bigger your sort of kite can be. And then however you want to tie it onto your stick. I'm just going to do a very quick knot. Like that. And there you have it. You have your fish windsock. Yours obviously nice and colourful. And you can brace it around the garden. Maybe do it with some brothers and sisters. Have a bit of fun. See how creative you could be with your windsock. Maybe post some of your pictures onto the Facebook page, and we'd love to see some of your arts and crafts. All right. Well, have fun and see what's coming next.
Thank you, Naomi. I really want to try that on a very windy day and see how my fish kite flies. Well, I'm going to show you our last craft today that is called weaving fish. And hopefully it should end up looking a little bit like this. And if you did manage to get hold of a craft pack, then you will need that sheet of card that came with 2 fishes on it, and the 2 pieces of coloured, slightly smaller, I think it's A5 card there. So I'm just going to, hopefully you'll be able to see my area just here, that I'll be able to show you my craft. So you need to take your one of your fish from the card that I just showed you. That's basically that cut out, just to save a little bit of time. And then you'll see that the fish on that piece of card have a little line straight down the middle. So what you do is you actually bend, fold over on that line, and then you should be able to see that these fishes have got lots of perforated lines on, and that's where you're going to cut. So you cut from your folded edge and sort of cut down to the end of the perforated line. That's a perforated line is a line with sort of gaps in it. And what I'm doing is you can sort of see I'm cutting down to the end of those perforated dotted lines and doing that on all of it. And then when you open it out, you'll find you've got your fish with lots of horizontal lines going that way. And then your next thing to do is to take your 2 bits of coloured paper that you should have and cut little strips about 1/2 centimetre wide across the top. So that's what I've done with these. So that's where these strips have come from my pieces of paper. And this is where you start weaving. Now, weaving is something, a sort of craft where you go sort of in and out and up and down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weave these little strips of paper that I've previously cut out, actually really quite fiddly, but you weave them in and out, up and down, up and down. So because I've gone under, you can see, I've gone under that strip. I'm going to go, under that one and then over that one, under and over, like that. So you can see it sort of looks like that. And then to secure it in place, you get your glue stick and you put a little blob of glue on the back and on the back again, that end, and stick them in place. Make sure they're pushed right up against the end, and then you can trim them off. And that's the first one done. And then you can get your second strip. And what you do is you do it the other way to the first strip. So you don't weave it the same way, but to get the fun pattern, you do it the opposite way. So because my paper strip was over the top on this one, I'll do it underneath for my second strip. So I'm doing it exactly the opposite of my first strip, under, over, under, over, under, over. And you'll find you'll get sort of the hang of it as you go along, and you'll sort of end up doing it a little bit quicker. And then make sure you push it back to keep it in line. And again, you would stick it and fasten it in place. Now I'm going to leave it there actually, because I think you probably get the idea, and you will end up with a fish that looks like this. If you want to be really clever, what you can do afterwards is decorate perhaps the tail and things. And even beforehand, when you're at this point, you could paint or colour your fish without the strips in, and then put the strips in afterwards to make a bit more colour if you wanted. But there we go. That is your weaving fish. So I hope you've had lots of fun thinking about all of our different crafts. There's lots of colourful crafts this afternoon, all about fishes, and thinking perhaps when you do them, you can think about the sort of the beauty of God's creation and how amazing some of the things that he created were, and the fish included in that. Oh, so we hope you've had a lovely time with us today. We're coming to the end of our session together, and Betty is going to finish up with a prayer for us all. So over to Betty.
So you're ready quietly to pray. Dear God, we thank you that you sent Jesus to be with us. Help us to be like the disciples and to follow in his way. Help us to wonder at the marvels of the world around us and to do our best to show his love to others. Amen. And now we're going to do the Lord's Prayer. So everybody's going to come round.
Just wait for everybody to be there. Hope you can see everybody. Okay, so the Lord's Prayer goes, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen. And we're going to finish with the grace. So we'll pretend that we're holding hands. You actually can at home. The grace of our Lord Jesus God, and the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all evermore. Amen. Thank you. And goodbye from us all.
Yeah, goodbye everyone. Lovely to have seen you this afternoon. Thank you for joining us. And don't forget, I started to tell you, I think, but next month we're hoping to be in the Rectory Gardens. So do join us if you can. It will be at 3:30, so slightly earlier time, an hour earlier, 3:30 in the Rectory Gardens. So do send us an email or be in touch with one of us if you would like to come. If you're not able to do that, do just turn up on the day. And we're also going to live stream as well, or not live stream, we're going to have some recorded things as well if you can't make it at that time. But really looking forward to seeing any of you who can make it next time, and hope you have a lovely month between now and then. Bye from all of us. Bye. Bye.